Hey folks, I've been spending the past couple weeks just doing a ton of programming and updating and whatnot on Cordy. Um, so I figured I'd make a little tutorial about one of the tools that I use. So the API that I wrote Cordy with is called JUCE. It's a C++ library. And one thing that I figured would be um, helpful for those of you that may be interested in programming is to see some live coding in action. So what I did was I created just a generic class called a button, and we're going to turn it into a functional button. And I'm going to show what this tool, Projucer, is, what it's really good for. I don't know if you've ever messed around with an IDE before. You'll know that. Um, you know that like just compiling code, like if you make a little change, you have to recompile it and wait for that to happen before you can see if it did anything. So, excuse me. So what this is really good for is just editing code on the fly and seeing the changes in real time. So that's what we're going to do. So the first thing we need to do is turn this into a button. And to do that, and we have to, because it's a subclass of button, and button has a specific type of constructor, we have to fill that in. Alright, so our button class is initialized. We're just waiting for it to build here. And then for this to work, we have to, it needs a couple methods to be overridden. So let's override the paint button method, and it's got a couple parameters. Mouse down. I think that's right. Let's see. If it's right, then it'll pop up here. Ta-da! Okay, cool. So this is something that is good for. We can just do this right here. We know our button's going to be kind of small. So let's see if that's right. This is the default size, 300 by 200. So there we go, it's 30 by 30. Okay, cool. So what we're going to want to do is just draw a circle. It's going to be a round button. So to do that, we need to use a couple methods. One of them is draw ellipse. And we need a rectangle for that, as well as fill ellipse. So we also need a rectangle for that. So let's get our rectangle. Auto r equals get local bounds dot to float. Now we have our rectangle. So now we can just set a color and then draw our circle. G.set color. Let's do red. G.draw ellipse r1. 1 is how thick of a line we're going to draw. I'm just waiting for it to compile, and there's our line. Now this is kind of small, so we can do this. Now you'll notice that stuff's getting clipped off, so to fix that we have to reduce the rectangle that we're drawing the ellipse in. Reduce half. It has to do with how paths and lines and stuff are drawn. Alright, cool, that's awesome. Okay, so we have our outer bound. Let's deal with this if the mouse is over it. So this happens like if you move your cursor over it. So let's put that in first. If is mouse over button. Oh. We'll change the color. So the logic is going to be if the mouse is over the cursor, it's going to be one color. If it's otherwise, it's going to be something else. So we'll do this default color first. Red is our default color. Well, we'll do black or let's do a gray color. Let's see, we'll do auto color equals 90. Color takes 3 parameters. RGB. You can add an alpha if you want. Okay, here's our color. So now, we need to do this. This goes after. So first we set our color and then we draw. And we'll do, if mouse is over button, we'll do g.set color. We'll do that red color. Or no, we'll do a green color. Wait for that to compile. Okay, cool. So now as you can see when I mouse over it, it turns green. Sort of. It's kind of darkening. So something else we can do, which is pretty helpful, is we can just change these numbers and you'll see that the color changes in real time. So it's real handy for that. We'll just leave that at that color. Alright, cool. So our mouse over code is done. Now draw order is really important. So let's, we want, what we're going to do is draw our background first and then draw this ring on top of the background. So let's draw the background first. So g.set color, colors, colors red. G.draw, fill ellipse. Okay. R. Waiting for it to build. And awesome. Alright, cool. So, yeah, we're not taking into account like if the mouse button is down at all. Something that happens with most buttons when you click them down is they shift a little bit. So, if is mouse down, we need to translate this a little bit. So r equals r dot translated 1, 1. We'll just shift it over 1 pixel. But stuff's getting cut off, so to make it still fit in the window, we need to shrink this. And then now it's still in the window. All right, that's awesome. So something that we can also do is you notice like if we click on it, the color in the middle doesn't change. So we can attach it to this if is mouse down, but it's not going to remember that state. So we need like some variable to remember that. So bool is active equals false. And then we need something that will remember, something that will switch it around. So we'll use the mouse down method for that. So void mouse down, mouse event reference e is active equals the opposite of is active. And repaint. Okay. So you'll notice like is mouse down is going to move it, but we're not taking advantage of this is active variable. So let's do that. If is active, use one color, else use this other color. So if it's active, we'll do, let's just do blue. It'll be nice and ugly compared to the red color. All right, let's check that out. Let me disable live build. And just override. Last time I did this, it crashed. Restart compiler. This window. Okay, so mouse over it, the background changes. Click on it, background changes again. All right, cool. That's a functional button. So there you go. That's a nice little introduction for how Projucer works, and just a quick way to kind of learn how to how to use the Projucer for like prototyping the way stuff looks. So when you're actually looking at your items, you can really like test them out. You can see all this stuff. Cool. That's right. Cordy is getting VSTs, which will be pretty neat. All right. Hope you like that.